All right, welcome back. We are Gale of Waterdeep, after all, and we're going to fix this.
That great mind is little more than. According to what you've read, you have but.
Right, best to be avoided for sure. All right, so we find ourselves on the Ravaged Beach, and we run up and see that Shadowheart's fine. So 10-10, she's unconscious, but completely unharmed by her prior death. And we'll just wake her up,
You're alive. I'm
and we'll say
alive,
it doesn't
Druid.
matter,
I
and we'll
run
ask her
past
what
them.
she's interested
Yet
in,
you escaped.
and invite her along to the
You,
party. She appreciates the fact that we saved her. And since this run's a little less story-centric, I'm just going to fast forward through most of the dialogues unless something really important comes up and I feel like I need to explain what we're doing or why. We'll come over here and loot the barrels. Sometimes we get thieves' picks or something else. Again, we're going to be a little more poor in this run, especially at first. Lots of alchemical components if that's a thing that you're interested in doing. I might, in this run, do some. There'll be some need to pick up some alchemical stuff. Depends on if we're lucky with shopping. Again, when we walk up here, these are going to reposition back over here, and we can use Minor Illusion to move them around, or a familiar if we wanted to. The cat would work. Okay. Another option, by the way, is to use Shadowheart to do it. So we could have Shadowheart cast Sanctuary on herself and just walk over and stand next to the explosive and then uh, move away on her turn and have someone light up and shoot the thing. And since we can do weapon dipping here, we could do that with just Shadowheart and Gale. So it's a perfectly good secondary. So we could do the, and maybe we will.
dead goblins over there.
It's just a
Worth
spell
checking
to
before
use.
diving.
You use less resources if you use Minor Illusion because it's free. All right, so we'll come over here and we'll shoot this Mind Flare.
That thing's bound to be dangerous, even
Yeah,
if injured.
not much good comes from hanging out and talking with Mind Flayers. And we'll head over and catch Asterion. We're going to recruit Asterion right away.
Hurry! I've got one of those there. In the
And we'll
graves.
tell him he can kill it
You can
himself.
kill.
I believe in him. He's going to try to abduct us. We'll do nothing.
Now.
And we'll nod.
And now you're going to
And tell him he's got it backwards. And it's the Mind Flayer's worm.
And to think.
We'll accept his apology. Shadowheart likes that.
My name.
We'll say we're Gale. And we're just going to take option 2 and option 2. And I'll add him to the party. Alright, so while we're here, we'll run down and see if we can find the secret cache. So, do we have any spells left with Shadowheart? Yeah, we're good. Okay.
Salutations.
Deep grooves in the mud around that rock.
Yeah, so we made it. It requires a little bit of strength to use, and in Baldur's Gate, all the dudes have no strength, but our Gale does. So if you had actual Origin Gale, he'd also have an 8 strength, and only Shadowheart would be able to move it. Our Gale, however, will have no trouble moving the rock. Come on, where's the white outline? There we go.
Have to keep pushing.
All right, so we'll have the party go into stealth mode. We'll break everybody apart.
Whatever comes, I'm ready.
And we'll have Shadowheart exit. And our gimmick here is just going to be to run up and kind of stand next to this thing and get everybody to come over.
I must keep going.
So we'll run down, we'll dash, go into turn-based mode, we'll dash again, and we'll cast Sanctuary, and then we're just going to haul up next to this thing. You see, we didn't win initiative, right? So this is why we cast Sanctuary before we rolled in. If we were to try to get into combat and then cast, these things would have potentially 3 attacks on us before that happened.
Best keep some distance, or this will be a short fight.
Shudder. Okay, so we've got everybody involved here. Let's get Asterion. He's got a Firebolt cantrip. Or, we'll show you how to do it with nothing. Okay, we'll take Gale, and we're going to go back to the Overgrown Ruins. We could have done this before, can do it now. If we wanted to, we could even sneak.
Path less traveled. I venture forth.
And we'll crouch as we're getting close.
With ease.
Make sure we've got our crossbow selected. We'll dip our weapon.
How opportune.
We're going to have... Come on, Shadowheart. We're going to have Shadowheart, who cannot be targeted, run. So we'll dash and get well away from the explosion.
What?
And we're out of flame here. So we'll
Advantage is unfair.
dip our weapon in fire and shoot.
One by one.
And Shadowheart's still in combat because we've got this one right here. It's still burning. And Gale is in combat now. If we want to, we could have Asterion kind of sneak in. Let's have Gale back up and see if the fire damage will kill it. It looks bad, so we're still burning. Just back off a little more, and that's it. Yours may burn slightly less, slightly more. It'll only have a couple hit points left if it's got anything. Anyway, so that's how we do that. If we don't want to use Minor Illusion, you can just use the Sanctuary spell that Shadowheart starts with. So, tactical. Again, we'll loot the Mind Flayers here,
Curiosity.
and our abducted nobleman, who's got some expensive stuff on him. Here, we want the thieves tools that are in this box. This is our first locked box where we would be encouraged potentially to try out the thieves picks and see how they work. We'll just break it with a stick.
What have we here?
And I'm headed up and around here because we want to loot this other Mind Flayer on the way out. And
Not this again.
Asterian's still sneaking. All right. Just to group the party up, we'll travel to the roadside cliffs. We want to go here. We want to go into this dungeon to save Withers as soon as we can, but we're going to make a quick stop off to pick up our fourth party member, so we'll pick up Lae'zel. We're also going to pick up this shovel. So way over on the side.
I hear shouting up ahead.
And Gale here is shouting and
Check it out.
referencing
Be
the
careful.
fight at the Emerald Grove door. We're not going to go there yet. I think I picked that stuff up. There we go. All right, so next up, we need to free Lae'zel, and we can do that through talking, but this is a tactical, so we're going to do that by killing the tieflings that are guarding her. And before we do that, we will level up quickly. So for Gale, we're going to swap out from fighter. We're going to pick up a level, or from wizard, we're going to pick up a level of fighter, and our fighting style is going to be 2-weapon fighting. We're going to have this for essentially just till we get done talking to withers. So our concern is getting 2 attacks around with any weapon, and being able to add our attribute to offhanded damage. And we're doing that because we're role playing that Gale's cut off from the weave directly, and he can use his powers from the shadow weave. Here, if we want to add utility for Shadowheart, Wizard's kind of the way to go. We'll have her pick up Minor Illusion, we'll have her pick up Mage Hand, and any other spell is fine. It doesn't really matter. We'll pick Blade Ward. See, she does not have any intelligence, so she's only going to be able to memorize 1 spell at a time. These are fine. You could give her Mage Armor if you wanted to enable her to armor up Gale, and he'd have a relatively good armor class. We could summon a familiar, right? So if we wanted to add a familiar and summon that up to get a little extra damage or another target for someone to hit, that'd also be okay. She mostly is going to want to cast either Sleep or Magic Missile. So Sleep allows us to knock out anybody that isn't an elf. There is an elf in the next fight. And Magic Missile is good for cleaning up opponents that have just a couple of hit points left. So same thing here with Asterion. The best thing we can do is give him some wizard levels. Mage Hand can throw things. Minor Illusion can reposition them. He's already got a Firebolt. His intelligence is slightly higher, so he can actually prepare 2 spells at a time. Same deal here. We could swap out and pick up a familiar. It's just an extra body that he can use. Shield is interesting, but I don't know that we would really want to memorize it. We could, in the Thunder Wave, get shield. So for spells prepared, we'll take Magic Missile, and if you're worried about getting attacked, shield, otherwise Sleep. All right, a quick look at our equipment here. Do we have any torches? No. Do we have any candles? If we're lucky, the answer is yes. So we do have a candle. So if we want to, we can make some fire to coat our weapons with for this fight. Let's see what we have in the way of weapons. And Gale's now proficient with all of them. And his strength adjustment and his dex adjustment are the same. So scimitars are the most specific of the weapons that we've got copies of. We'll give him the scimitars. For Shadowheart, we again want 2 weapons if we can, so 2 opportunities to attack. And our attribute doesn't really add much. For Asterion, we'll pick short swords if we've got them, which are just slightly better than daggers, but they're still light finesse weapons. All right, so we've got all of the stuff that we're likely to get here. We'll go into sneak mode,
Stepping softly.
and we'll see how close we can get. And we'll break the party apart and let's take a look at who we've got here. So we've got this guy, he has too many hit points to sleep. Her, she does not have too many hit points to sleep, so if we're going to sleep somebody, she's our target. We'll take Asterion around and see if we can't start off the fight with sleeping her. And we want to stay stealth this whole time. Okay, so to make it easier to target, let me hit tilde. So what we got here is these two tieflings.
We'll be on the road to Baldur's Gate.
We're going to cast Sleep.
When this thing strikes,
So we select her. We're going to hit Finish Selection.
this isn't Altarel.
And there we go, it's on. And Lizelle drops down and is in the fight, but we don't control her at the moment.
Such an undignified position to find oneself in.
And she's surprised, but not unconscious, which is a surprise to me. Okay, let's go. We'll bring Shadowheart into the fray, and we'll cast a big spell to start things off. So we'll cast her Guiding Bolt. Got a good hit. We have an offhand attack still. And we'll take it.
Do this.
Just hurry this along.
And now we'll run in with Gale and see if we can't finish the job.
Into the fray.
And we got lucky on the hiding check there. And we'll run right next to her. Asterion still has his offhand attack. Looks like we can't quite get there. We're just a little short of movement.
Give up.
Let's see what Lizelle does. And miss. Alright. So here, Asterian's going to do a little more damage if there's other people in combat because he's got the rogue sneak attack. We'll definitely take it.
The rough tempest I will raise.
Can't afford to let up. Your time has come.
And if we were worried about losing the fight, we've got other characters with control. We'll see if maybe Lizelle will finish this. There we go. And we'll talk to her.
The tadpole, but the
Yeah, she's always charming.
She obviously sees your kindness as weakness.
And we'll say that we'll journey together. Shadowheart will always disapprove of that.
Crash must be near.
Alright, and we've got our last edition. This is the one case where there's some argument for just keeping the same class. Action Surge is going to give her an additional attack, which is just as good as anything else we could do. So we'll just click Accept. And again, more attacks is better than good attacks here. She's entirely strength-based, so what we would like is more axes. And you could swap somebody for daggers and give her short swords or whatever. We just want to make sure that she's got 2 attacks around.
Repositioning.
Alright, so we'll get the party back together again,
Into the shadows.
and we're going to do a little more sneaking.
I shouldn't linger.
Alright, so this is the position that we're going to start in for the next combat, and I'll catch you in the next video where we do that. Thanks for watching.